Good morning. I'm finally back home and that feels pretty nice, but first let's have some breakfast, okay? And I'm gonna talk about cinemagraphs today, so you just pour some milk and then we'll talk about it. So what I do with the milk is called a cinemagraph, which is basically a combination between a moving picture, which is usually called cinema, and a regular photo. And that usually happens when one or two things in the photo moves and everything else stays still. And usually when you do a cinemagraph you want to find something like a loop. For this instance I use my milk as something that pour again and again and again and goes infinite. The easiest way I find to do my own cinemagraph is with Premiere. So all you need to do is grab your camera, take your shots, the one that you like, and just put it on record the thing you want to cinemagraph, and well, go into the program. So while you're doing that, I'm going to eat some breakfast. Oh.
Very nice.
Well, that just happened. Clean the mess from before. I'm gonna be more careful with this one now. But okay, so I'm sorry if I'm a little bit tired and not energetic as usual, because we just came back from the flight and I'm a bit tired. We came yesterday and I slept and I'm still like trying to get back to the usual. But that's not going to stop us from learning how to do a cinemagraph today. So the first thing we need to do, take our footage, put it inside Premiere Pro, and then watch it. Now what we're going to do is we're going to create a still image on top of our layer and just create a hole where the moving part is going to look. So usually try to film it on a tripod so your footage won't move, and if you want to add a movement later you can just add it in post, because if you will try to do a cinemagraph with a moving shot you will have a really tough time. You got your shot? Great! So let's place it in a new timeline, right click, new sequence from clip, and bam! We got it in the timeline. Now let's search for the moment that we want to start, like right here. So this is our starting point and we're gonna take it a few seconds, not too many, because our hands and everything is going to move a little bit. So just a few seconds, and I think here should be fine. So now we got our in and out, so let's cut away the rest. Now what we're gonna do, we're gonna hit Alt on the keyboard and drag one up. That means taking the footage that we have, click on it and drag it to the layer above to create a duplicate. And we're gonna go to the first frame of the duplicate and hit right click and click add whole frame. That way we have a still frame on top of our footage. So now we need to poke the hole. We're going to the top layer and we will create a mask. We're going to go to the opacity panel and hit on our pen tool and just mask around our footage. So now we have a mask where we want to do it. Now, because we still have some movement and sometimes we have some gain and stuff like that, just do a rough mask and then feather it a bit, so it will be fine. Got the mask, got the feather. Now what we need is to watch the footage and watch how it pours. Now usually you want to do the mask fine around the edges, like around, for me it's when the milk is going out, and where it's going into the bowl we want to do it more specific so it would look lateral and looping. And after we created that, we have our moving part. Now if you want to add more moving part to the picture, just create more holes in the frozen frame layer. We got now a looping part, not actually looping, but we got our movement. So now what we're going to do is we're going to duplicate the layer, because we're going to have a fade between them to create the loop. So what we want is the start of the footage where the milk is starting to pour, hit the end of the footage. so it would look like it infinitely poor when we duplicate this layer again. So again, hit Alt on your footage and duplicate it to a different layer. Now we got our duplication, and this is like looking pretty good. If we put them one after another, you will see that it looks good, but we want it to infinitely loop. We're gonna add a fade dissolve between them, any kind of fade that you find fine. I think the dissolve one is standard cross dissolve and it does the job great. This is looking really fine. So now it's just moving and fading to the beginning. Obviously we have too much difference between the beginning and the end. That would be problematic, and this is why we chose a little bit where it kind of fall and not took the whole shot, because that would be too long and ruin the cinemagraph. Now the next thing is obviously we want to maybe post our cinemagraph and we want to create this infinite loop. Now we know that we are going back to the beginning. So what that means that we might want to crop a little bit from the beginning of the clip and find the right frame so that will infinitely loop the beginning with the end. So we're gonna crop a little bit from the beginning and find the right point. Now obviously you can do this before, but I like doing it at the end because first I want to see that my cinemagraph works and then do it. Now the last part is just duplicating it again and again and again to around 6 to 8 seconds, because you can export it as a one short file, but that would be just like less than a second and maybe a second and a half, and that would be a bit problematic because I found out that on Instagram for when I'm shooting this video you have to have at least 6 seconds. So what I like to do is just make it a bit longer, and then I can check if the loop works as well. If I can see it looping again and again and again, and obviously this can help me just find where this point started and where should I need to crop to start the next shot. Now we got it infinitely looping for a few seconds. One thing that I like to do as well is find like music that kind of loops or that kind of sounds well, and to create and add on the illusion if someone wants to hear with music instead of hearing the milk pour. That could be a great idea too, just add the sound effect of infinitely pouring or infinitely doing whatever you're doing. And that's basically it. So let's watch it once again. Yeah, that looks fine to me. So this is how I create my cinemagraphs, and I hope it helps you create your own cinemagraph, because I think it's really cool to have this in your toolkit. It's a really powerful tool that you can really create and unique photos and moving things with. And obviously you can just make a still photo, had like if it's winter right now, so some places are snowy or rainy, and just add that rain or snow layer after to create this kind of moving thing to the still photo, and I think that's really cool. So guys, I know it's been a little bit short because I am a bit tired, and I hope you could create your own cool cinemagraph. Now I will see you next week, and I promise we're gonna do some cool things together, but right now I'm a bit tired, and like you said before, I kind of dropped half of my breakfast on the floor. So I want to finish to eat. I haven't eaten from the morning, so see you next time. Peace!